The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention.
Alrighty, we're live now. Is that it? Huh? What? Who? All right.
That's it. You're live.
We thought we were ready. We're really kind of not ready, but we're never really ready. Anybody who's been following me in radio since 1999 knows even when I'm ready, I'm still not ready.
Well, we're ready.
But the news people are ready. Let's go. We've got some professional news people. Hi, how's everybody going? How's everything doing? Tom Duggan here in the Paying Attention podcast, our third show. Enjoying being able to take the Paying Attention radio program that we had for like 20 some odd years, turning it into a TV podcast. We're going to be looking for some sponsors for as little as $800 a month. You could be sponsoring this show. You'd be getting ads, print ads in the Valley Patriot. You'll be getting ads on valleypatriot.com during news stories. It's a complete crossover multimedia package. Please call us, instant message us, Facebook us, whatever, and we'll help promote your business. Maybe we'll even have you on the show if you spend enough money with us. But before we get to anything, I've got so much stuff I want to talk about today. We've only got an hour. The radio show is 2 hours, so we're trying to cram a 2-hour radio show into a 1 hour. But the more sponsors we get, the better chance there is we can go to. So before we get to anything, because I got tons of stuff to get to, we've got Diana DeZoglio, state representative, here to be interviewed. Let's throw this to Fred and Meredith and find out what are the news stories of the week here on Paying Attention. Everybody gets it, except Bob LeBlanc, who sucks.
How you doing, Tom?
I hate Bob LeBlanc.
I know.
Who brought him up?
No, I don't know.
Oh, maybe I did.
Maybe you did.
All right.
We begin today's news in North Andover, where residents are preparing to decide whether they will allow the opening of a marijuana manufacturing facility at Osgood Landing. Now, Tom, you may remember Mass voters legalized marijuana use last year, but communities that voted against the measure back then are given a choice whether they want to ban commercial cannabis locally if they want to. So now this Osgood Landing facility, manufacturing facility, would require a 2/3 vote at town meeting to rezone the property. Proponents say it would bring about $4.5 million into the local town budget, much of which would go toward local schools, and that the site would not be used for the retail sale of marijuana. Opponents, meanwhile, cite concerns about traffic and the quality of life locally. A vote scheduled to be held on January 30th. Now, Tom, the Valley Patriot, in this month's edition, there you go, Valley Patriot, they editorialized in favor of this project this month.
Yeah, that's weird. I thought they were kind of conservative.
I don't know. Tell us about that.
I don't know.
What do you think about this?
Well, listen, I voted, and the Valley Patriot took a position against legalizing marijuana.
Yep.
Now, people who know me personally think, well, how the hell does that work? Because we all know what Tom's up to. But the fact is, listen, the government is going to do to marijuana what they did to cigarettes. And as a right-wing libertarian kind of guy, I just don't want the government involved in that. Mm-hmm. Finally, Massachusetts did something right after 300-something years in existence.
Imagine that.
Massachusetts decriminalized marijuana, so the cops don't have to worry about it. But if someone's dealing it, they can still arrest them, and they can go after it that way. And now they just want to make it completely legal. Well, they did make it completely legal, which means they're going to tax it. They're going to regulate it.
Right.
They're going to regulate the THC in it. You watch. 5 years from now,
sure.
5 years from now, it's going to cost $50 for a joint. And you're going to have to smoke 5 of them to get high because the government will so regulate them under the guise of health. Sorry. So you asked my opinion. That's kind of what it is.
Okay.
But look, we were against marijuana. But now that it's legal, how do you then say we want to stop a marijuana farm in North Andover?
Right. Because
I think it should be legal. That's like saying I'm going to oppose a liquor store on Main Street because I think alcohol should be legal. Well, you lost that fight.
Right.
Yep. That fight was lost at the ballot box. Yep. I voted the other way. So now I support this project because it's legal. I don't like that it's legal, but it is, and that's what America's all about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yep.
We continue now with news of a big federal court decision regarding immigration. On Tuesday, a federal judge in San Francisco prevented the Trump administration from ending the DACA program, which shielded more than 700,000 young people from deportation. U.S. District Judge William Alsup ruled that the DACA program must stay intact, and those already approved for DACA protections and work permits must be allowed to renew them before they expire, while litigation about its future gets resolved. Trump ended the Obama-era Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program last year, giving Congress until March to find a fix. In a bipartisan meeting of nearly 24 lawmakers at the White House on Tuesday, President Trump reiterated his optimism that congressional leaders will be able to work together to reach an agreement on the program's future. I don't know about that. I don't think Congress is going to work together. But
Yeah, I don't think they are either.
they don't work together on anything.
Listen, the only thing that they can agree on is that they all hate Trump.
Exactly.
Right? Democrats and Republicans. Like, the only thing that they're good for, they've done nothing for 50 years. They've allowed this problem to go on for 50 years. They've done absolutely nothing. And now Trump wants to do something and suddenly like, oh, no, we can work together. Well, no, you can't.
Right.
Yep.
So, listen, if you're here illegally, you're not causing trouble, fine. I have no problem with you staying. As long as we get a wall, we're deporting criminals, we're not giving them welfare, they're not getting free public housing. You want to stay, you want to be a resident, I'm okay with you staying. But the minute you beat your wife,
Exactly.
the minute you drunk drive,
Yeah.
go the fuck home.
Exactly.
Excuse my French.
Gone.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Congress might not be too popular these days, but there is someone who is pretty popular these days.
Me?
Besides
Aside
you.
from you.
Yeah.
We just assumed you. But so Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker continues to enjoy sky-high approval ratings, according to a recent poll by WBUR and Mass Inc. polling group that went live on Wednesday on masslive.com.
Nice. We like
So,
Charlie.
according to that service, sure. 66% of Bay Staters had a favorable opinion of Charlie Baker, while only 17% viewed him unfavorably. 74% of voters approved of Baker's job as governor. Now, he fared better than several other Massachusetts politicians did. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren was found to have a favorability rating of 54% versus 38% unfavorable.
How friggin' unbelievable is that?
Well-
that a woman who cares more about the citizens of other governments than she does the people who friggin' voted for her could have a 56% approval rating among the people she doesn't care about.
In
Like, how does that
Massachusetts.
work?
In Massachusetts.
How does that work?
Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey, at the same time, 40% of respondents viewed her favorably, whereas 17% unfavorable.
Wow. She could be in trouble. How's that possible?
Well, I
I
don't
thought
know.
she was the golden girl.
No, those are there's lots of time to improve those numbers,
All
right?
right, yep.
So, good news. The news was not quite as good, rather, for President Trump. So the same pound.
Oh, I'm so shocked.
I know. In
I'm
Massachusetts,
sure
well,
Massachusetts is -3.
Right.
It's shocking, I know. But same poll found 28% of voters approve of the president, whereas 64% viewed him unfavorably. Nearly two-thirds of respondents do not think that he is fit to serve as president, and 59% say that having him as president is bad for the country.
That's awesome.
So 2018 is the election year. What do you think all this means?
It doesn't mean a damn thing.
No?
Because what people don't understand is that when the news reports on polls, they're really just reporting on the success of what they've said the week before.
It's true.
If the news comes out and talks for a whole week about shark attacks, even though there were fewer shark attacks this week than last week, then you poll people on Monday and say, hey, do you think there have been more shark attacks? 68% of them are going to say yes.
Yeah.
So when CNN ever comes on and they say, a new poll came out that says Donald Trump hates babies. Well, yeah, you just spent the last week telling everybody that he hates fucking babies. Of course he does. Of course people think that. It's lazy journalism. Reporting on polls, not like you guys, because
That's okay.
you bring it up so we can
That's
talk about
yeah.
it. But CNN coming out and talking about a poll, and by the way, when they take the poll, it's always a push poll.
Right.
Right.
Like they word the questions to get the most negative response on
Right.
Trump that they can and the most positive response on any Democrat that they can.
Right.
So,
Well,
anyways, that's my
We'll see.
rant on that.
We'll see.
So, speaking of politics, speculation's building that former Mass Governor Mitt Romney will make a run for the U.S. Senate.
He's so friggin' useless.
That speculation comes amidst news that 83-year-old Utah Senator Orrin Hatch, the longest-serving Republican in the Senate, will retire in 2018 after spending 42 years in Washington.
Yeah, nobody should spend 42 years in
nobody
Washington.
should.
Long time.
I mean, here's the other thing, though. I did a rant on this on Facebook this week. Oprah Winfrey's thinking about running for breaking news. Oprah Winfrey's thinking about running for president. Breaking news. Mitt Romney's thinking about running. When did people thinking about stuff become news? Like, I thought when they did it, it became news,
Right.
Mitt Romney
Right.
announced he's running for Senate. That's news.
Right.
Yep.
But otherwise, like, I'm thinking of taking a dump. Is that breaking news? I don't understand. Like, how does... You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
I
Romney,
don't want to unprofessionalize your news, but I just...
he hasn't announced publicly if he's going to run, but he did change his Twitter profile to say that he comes from Holiday, Utah.
Yeah.
It previously said Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So he actually polls well in Massachusetts. 54% said it's a good idea. 29% said bad idea.
Yeah, and these are all the people who hated him when he was governor. So like,
Exactly.
Massachusetts are all they're schizophrenic Democrats. They don't
Right.
know what they think.
Right.
You never know.
You know, I'm thinking about moving to New Hampshire. I've been thinking about it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Except all the mass holes moved up
Right.
here.
It's becoming Democratic.
So think about this: the people from Massachusetts who screwed Massachusetts up all moved to New Hampshire because now Massachusetts is screwed up. Then they get here and they go, "Oh, we need full-day kindergarten and raise our taxes and barrel roll up." Well, wait a minute.
Right. Maybe you need to go way, way up,
Well,
like on
yeah.
the Canadian
Yeah,
border
right.
or
North of
something.
continent.
Yeah.
You can't go to Canada; all the communists up there.
Yeah, you can't go that far.
No. Well, Tom, finally in local news, the Baker-Polito administration recently awarded $388,000 in grants to 10 communities to complete asset management plans.
Well, that sounds like a total waste of money. Convince me.
Good news. City of Haverhill, locally, they received $40,000 for
what?
grants under the
And what are they
program.
going to do with it?
So what these plans do is they enhance the long-term operation and maintenance of communities' drinking water and wastewater systems.
How do they do that?
I don't know. But they got
to be determined.
$40,000 to figure it out.
But
that's why they needed the grant.
But isn't this awesome? The governor's office, Mayor Ferentini, whoever it is, because that's this story, right? It's the governor and Mayor Ferentini. Right. They send out these press releases saying, "Oh, isn't this awesome? We got $10,000 for like green technology training," and then they never tell you how they're spending it.
Right.
Well, how about okay, you got $40,000 for all this long protracted thing that you explained but didn't say anything. How about just tell us how you're spending the money?
Yeah, right.
It's going to be $40,000 maybe for infrastructure, for pipes, to hire somebody. But they never tell you.
We'll have to follow up.
Right, yeah.
They need another grant for that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the press release
Could have
grant.
called Jim Ferentini's office and see what he's doing.
Yep. That's your news today.
That's it? That was all there was?
That's it.
So I ruined your whole day just for that.
No.
I feel bad about that.
No, last week we had snow. Today we have news. So.
See, I have a security team, Twin Light Security. They follow me around when I'm in Lawrence going to shooting calls.
Yep.
And then my intern, Maddie, she has a security team. Her father, who chaperones her when she comes to my office.
That's the best security
team,
team, actually.
To protect her from me.
It's a good idea.
And I asked Meredith to be my news person, and of course, Fred.
I got my bodyguard.
Fred had to come and be her security.
I noticed a trend here, Tom. I noticed a trend. Yeah.
See, this is going on.
That's all right.
There was 100 people here, but half of them to protect the other half of the people from me.
That's okay. Whatever gets them here.
So, well, listen, I appreciate you guys. Plug your business, Lyric Properties, Lyric Real Estate. What do you guys do?
Yeah, a couple different businesses. We have Lyric Consulting, which does communications and marketing for political candidates and small businesses. Lyric Properties, which is selling and helping people buy property all around the Merrimack Valley,
Fred's an attorney,
Massachusetts.
so if you find yourself
and
in trouble,
He'll
get you out.
Not if, when. Yeah, right.
I made an attorney to protect me from him.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate the news. And are you guys having fun doing this?
We're having a blast.
Absolutely.
We're having a blast.
Absolutely.
Plus, the coffee is great here.
Sean the barista.
That's right. There you go.
We'll have him bring us some coffee in a few minutes. We got to get him camera time. I love that guy. So, all right. I'm Tom Duggan. This is the Paying Attention podcast. We're going to take a quick break. Excellent. We'll take a quick break. We've got State Representative Diana DeZoglio is with us today. She's going to talk about the opioid crisis. Going to break her chops a little bit about some of the other silly things that she does. But she's like, "Are you setting me up?" I'm like, "Of course I'm setting you up. You've been on my show before.
Uh-oh.
Go on." So we're back with Diana DeZoglio after this on Paying Attention, where Bob LeBlanc doesn't get it, but we're going to talk lots about him every week. Trust me.
Once again, back to Paying Attention, and here is Tom Duggan.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't clap or anything, studio audience, when we come back from a break. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good.